Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and enjoy this fanfic part 1. Now let's start the fanfic. Naruto was now facing the one that had led the world to destruction. The one that had manipulated Obito into gathering the Biju and ruined his life. Madara had managed to revive the Juubi without the Kyuubi or Hachibi in a larva form which now had evolved into its true form. The god-like demon had destroyed everything once it had transformed back into its true form. Madara had led it rampage throughout the continent as the beast pleased. The 5 villages had been obliterated within a few hours after it was released, and it was now returning to its master to finish of the last bit of resistance in the world. Even though it seemed like a hopeless effort now, both Obito and Sasuke had been killed. Obito died when he fought Kakashi and Might Guy. The 3 had battled in the former location of the village hidden in the clouds. Guy had released all 8 gates to hold Obito down in place during the period when Kamui was inactive, while Kakashi used Sharingan to use his own Kamui that ripped out Obito's heart. Both died right after the battle, even after the victory. Sasuke died in a battle against the rest of the Konoha 11. In that battle Shikamaru, Choji, Ino, Kiba, and Neji died in the battle, and Rock Lee was also killed when Sakura was about to get a Chidori through the chest and he jumped in the way. Shino was able to hold off Sasuke until Naruto arrived to finish the job and avenge his now dead friends. Hinata, Tenten and Sakura later died when a wave of Zetsus attacked them after the battle. The 3 had taken down over 300 of them before being overran by the never-ending attack from the plant men. Shino had been killed by the revived Orochimaru, who was then killed by Tsunade. The battle between the 2 Sannin lasted 3 days and nights until Tsunade used the Shiki Fujin to seal his body and soul inside the Shinigami with herself. The cages, with the exceptions of Gaara and Tsunade, had died defending their villages after they had been healed by Katsuya to save them from their near-death state. Killer Bee had tried to fight the Juubi back away from Kumo after his brother's death, only to have the Juubi grow roots and absorb all his chakra along with the 8 tails. Now it was down to Gaara, the Kazekage and former Jinchuriki of the Shukaku, and Naruto, the current Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi. They were the last 2 shinobi left from the 5 great nations left alive. Gaara looks like this is the end, Naruto said to the red head next to. Both were tired and had only about a tenth of their chakra left, while Madara and his Edo Tensei body had unlimited chakra. They were facing completely impossible odds at the moment. It does look that way, Naruto. Any ideas? The red-haired Kazekage asked the last Uzumaki and unofficial Rokudaime Hokage. Naruto had been proclaimed Hokage before Tsunade went to fight Orochimaru, but because of the deaths of the daimyos he was never given the official title. Naruto had a sad smile. Yes, just one, but I will not live through it. I trust you with the fate of the world. I will use the Shiki Fujin to seal the Juubi and Madara inside myself, which will then be eaten by the Shinigami. Naruto explained to the Kazekage. It was the only way to end it. His father had died using the forbidden jutsu, and now so would he. Gaara's eyes widened at the plan to summon the Shinigami. It was suicide at best. No, I have nothing to live for now. My village, Kankuro, Temari, Matsuri, they are all gone now. You are the last thing I have left, brother. I will die with you. Gaara said with a small smile, but a smile nonetheless. Naruto looked moved by the small speech that his best friend and brother figure had given him. Naruto smiled back. Then let's do this and take this bastard to hell with us, Naruto said with a large smirk, which was replicated by Gaara on a smaller scale. Both put their hands together and started to go through the same hand signs just as the Juubi arrived to fight them. Madara, seeing the jutsu that they were going to use, ordered the Juubi to attack. Both cages stopped at the same hand sign as slammed their palms on the ground. Summoning jutsu. Both yelled as the dark form of the Shinigami manifested behind them. The death god that manifested had dark purple skin and spiky white hair with 2 horns coming out of it. It looked deathly thin under its white cloak. The death god took the sword that was in his mouth and looked down at Naruto and Gaara. Why have I been summoned? The deity asked the 2 ninja in front of him. The aura of dread and death filled the area when the god spoke in his gruff and angry voice that sounded like several voices speaking at once. Naruto decided to answer the god's question. We need you to seal away Madara Uchiha and the Juubi inside of me. Naruto said to the death god. Naruto knew that once he did this he would be forever sealed within the Shinigami along with the two dark entities in front of him. To seal away so much power will require more than one soul. The god said to blonde Jinchuriki. That is why I offer my soul as well, Gaara said to the purple-skinned god who turned his attention to Gaara. I have nothing else and I can't let my brother die alone. Gaara said with a smirk as he looked at Naruto who was nearly crying at Gaara's statement. Kurama also gives his soul to you. Naruto said as he spoke what the Kyuubi had told them through their mental link. The souls of two Kage and a Biju, yes that will do. The Shinigami said. The Juubi roared as it went for the kill as it shot a cone-shaped Bijudama at Naruto. Gaara made a massive wall of sand to block the attack. The Shinigami seeing this stabbed the might beast in the chest with the blade that it carried in its mouth. The Juubi roared in pain as it was absorbed into the seal on Naruto's stomach. Naruto screamed in pain as the massive amount of nature chakra was sealed inside of his body. Madara saw that his pet was now gone for good and decided that it was now a good time to run, or at least that was the plan before he too was captured by the god and sealed inside of Naruto. As the sealing ended, the souls of Gaara, Naruto, and Kurama were removed by the Shinigami. Now done with his job, the death god left the world for his own. Shinigami's world. Naruto woke up with the worst headache of his life. He felt like both Tsunade and Sakura had punched him in the head multiple times while he looked around and noticed that he was in a king-sized bed with black covers. The room he was in had red walls with black stripes and no windows or furniture for the matter. The blonde slowly got out of bed and made his way out of the room. He was now in a hallway with that looked like the walls of his room but with a black carpet. As he walked through the hall he noticed that there were no other doors. He eventually made it to the end of the hallway where there was a door like the one that led to the room he awoke in. As he opened the door he found himself in a large meeting room. Sitting in around a large were the Shinigami and two women on one side with Gaara and an empty seat on the other. One of the women noticed Naruto and motioned for him to sit down. Naruto did as told and sat next to his brother. The women in the middle had long white hair as pure and the freshly fallen snow and golden eyes. He wore a tight golden form-fitting kimono with white petals blowing through it. Hello, I'm glad you woke up. I am Kami just so you know. The woman now known as Kami said with a smile that seemed to glow with light. Both of the former Jinchuriki's eyes widened at this. Kami. Both yelled in complete and utter shock that he goddess of light was talking to them. Kami let out a small giggle. Yes, but we are not here to talk about me. We are here to talk about you Naruto. She said to the blonde, who tilted his head to the side in confusion before he became a bit scared. What about me? Naruto asked, now a bit nervous that he may be in trouble. The other woman spoke this time. She had black hair like an Uchiha that cascaded down to the floor. She had blood-red eyes like the Kyuubi as well and sharp canines but didn't have the feeling for hatred. He wore a black version of what the other women wore but with no petals. Yes, we have a offer for you Naruto. Oh, and I'm Yami goddess of darkness, she said with a bloodthirsty grin that reminded Naruto of Anko. Offer. Yes, we will revive you and Gaara if he wants but in a different world that is like your own but with a few differences. If you refuse then you too will be given a house in heaven for you and your loved ones. The god said to the two. Gaara closed his eyes, I refuse. Thank you for the offer but my family and wife are here and that is all I want. I have no desire to leave them while I live. Gaara said to the three who nodded. Understood, and with good reason. Kami said to the sand user. Naruto started before he was cut off by Gaara. Gaara looked at his friend with a dead serious look. No Naruto, you have to go. I have everything I wanted here while you don't. Go and live a new life, make friend, get a girlfriend, and save that world from ending like our own. Gaara said to his friend. But, Naruto said but was cut off once more. No buts, Naruto. I have always trusted you, now trust in me to tell you to take this offer. Gaara said with conviction. Naruto looked at Gaara with wide eyes as tears streaked down his cheeks. Fine, I'll trust you. Naruto said as he looked over to the gods. I accept your offer. Kami smiled at the blonde. Good, but you'll need a new outfit, she said as she snapped her fingers. Naruto was engulfed in smoke. When it cleared, Naruto was now wearing a black shirt over a metal armor mesh. He wore baggy black pants with a red line going down both sides and an orange sash around his waist. Over this he wore his sage coat but with the kanji for heaven in the middle of the back and a hood with black flames around the rim, and the tail looked torn. Like Ichigo's when in Bankai. Whoa, I look bad, Naruto said as he looked over his new outfit. Of course you do, Juubi-san, Yami said to the blonde ninja who was still admiring his new attire. Naruto looked up at Yami, who a confused look in his eyes that told Yami all she needed to know. Oh, you didn't know? Since you sealed the Juubi in yourself and then had its soul removed, the Yoki fused with your body, making you the new Juubi. Congratulations, Yami said with a wide smirk. Naruto looked at Yami with a blank expression. He opened and closed his mouth several times before his eyes simply rolled back and he fainted on the spot. Gaara looked down at his unconscious brother and sighed. I should have seen that coming, he said as he stood up and kicked Naruto in the head, waking the blonde up. Naruto glared at Gaara. Why did you kick me? Naruto yelled at Gaara, temporarily losing control of his newfound power. Naruto's chakra spiked to unimaginable levels and his eyes changed from a cobalt blue to an angry red that covered the entire eye with 4 black rings like a Rinnegan, but the first 3 rings had 3 tomo in them. When Naruto calmed down, he was panting hard from using the power of the Juubi. His eyes were bloodshot now and bleeding from the corners. He looked up at the 3 gods sitting in front of him. What was that? Naruto asked them. That was the power you gained from the Juubi, the Shinigami answered the blonde's question. I will place a seal on you that allow you to control the amount of chakra you use at a time so that you don't walk around with an energy output that surpasses the Kyuubi. The god laughed out, causing the entire room to shake. Naruto just nodded and stretched out his right arm. On the back side of his hand an appeared that looked like a upside-down triangle with 3 triangles pointing to it at each tip. The entire seal was black but had a slight blue glow. This seal blocks 8 tails of power while leaving you with 2 tails. You can release them any time you wish as well and reseal them, Yami said to the blonde who just nodded. Naruto and Gaara stood up and shook hands. Well, this is where we part, Gaara, Naruto said to Gaara. It was a strange moment. They were the only ones they had left before they died and now they were being separated. The redhead, who normally never showed emotions, had a tear falling from his right eye. I guess it is Ni-san. I would go with you, but I have people waiting for me in heaven. It was nice to have met you. You turned me around and gave me hope, and for that I will never forget you, Gaara said to his blonde partner. The 3 gods looked at each other and nodded. The Shinigami stood up and walked over to the 2. You guys know that we can take a part of each of your souls and make a weapon to that you two will always be bonded. What do you two think? You two will be able to talk to each other at any time. Through the link, plus it will help Naruto out since he will not have full control over his new powers and his chakra control will be shot. The god of death explained to the 2 former Jinchuriki. The 2 looked at each other for a second before turning back to the Shinigami and nodding their response. The god smiled and reached into their bodies, taking out a small orb from each of them. Gaara's was sand-colored with a green center while Naruto's was crimson of the outside with a black center. The death god brought the 2 orbs together. The second the 2 orbs touched, light filled the chamber. The light slowly faded to show a katana in a dark tan scabbard with a black hilt and red grip. The guard was in the shape of a 10-pointed star with red golden tips. This is Sabakuka's desert wind. This is the physical representation of your bond to Gaara, Naruto. I don't know the specifics, but this sword gives you slight control over sand and can launch wind attacks. The Shinigami said as he handed the sword to Naruto. So when do I leave? Naruto asked the three gods, who just smiled at him, making him sweat a bit since the look on their face looked more like they were going to try something that will put him in a bad possession. Now, Kami said as she snapped her fingers. In a flash of light, Naruto was gone and his seat was now empty. Kami looked over at Gaara and stood up, motioning for him to follow. Time to reunite you with your family, Gaara, she said to the red head that followed behind him. Sky over Konoha. Everyone in Konoha saw the explosion of light over the center of the village as a rainbow of lights showered the fire country. A massive chakra surge passed over the village, causing the ground to shake wildly as the ground below cracked. The civilians and genins feel unconscious from the amount of pure power that was getting released. A beam of golden light shot down at the center of the village in front of the Hokage Tower. All the ninja who were still able to move under the pressure from whatever was coming gathered around the light as they waited for the light to fade. Each them ready to attack at a moment's notice. Even the Hokage was there in his battle armor and Enma in his bow staff form. When the intense light cleared, it revealed a tall teen about 16 years old with spiky blonde hair and blue eyes. His face was angular and had 3 whisker marks on each cheek. He had a muscular build but was not overly muscular like the Raikages, but more like a boxer. Everyone that saw the man thought one single thought, Yondaime-sama. Hiruzen walked over to the man who just stood there studying everyone around him carefully. Minato, is that you? He asked the blonde man who had appeared from the blinding light. Naruto just stared at the man owlishly. The man in front of him was Hiruzen Sarutobi, the Sandaime Hokage who had died years ago during the sound and sand invasion of the Hidden Leaf. Naruto noticed that everyone was staring at him. Actually no, my name is Naruto. Can I talk to you in private? Naruto asked, scratching the back of his head. The old Sandaime nodded and motioned for him to follow. The other ninja, seeing that the man was going with their leader, dispersed. The only one who stayed was a 15-year-old girl with blonde hair that was tied down into 2 pigtails that reached her lower back. In a flash she was gone, leaving no trace that she was ever there to begin with. Hokage's office. The two walked into the large room where the Hokage did his job and ran the village when not at the mission hall. The old but powerful man sat behind his desk and leaned forward on his elbows with his fingers interlocked with each other. Hiruzen decided to start the conversation first by asking the man a question. Where did you come from? It was a simple question but important nonetheless. As Hokage, he had to know where people who fall out of the sky over his village looking like their hero come from. Naruto smirked. From my mother. He answered, causing the Sandaime to face fault. Naruto laughed at the action committed by the old man. I meant, which country do you come from? The old man said as he pinched the bridge of his nose. Naruto nodded and did a hand seal. Tsukiyomi, he said as his eyes turned into red rinnegan's with 9 tomo. Tsukiyomi world. Hiruzen Sarutobi found himself in a barren crater with what looked like houses around the edges. One thing he noticed was that the sky was red and there was a black moon. In front of him Naruto materialized. This is my home, this is Konoha. Naruto said grimly. Hiruzen's eyes widened when he heard this. He looked at the absolute destruction of the village. He shook his head, refusing to believe that his home turned into something like this. You're lying, this can't be Konoha. Naruto started to cry a bit. This is indeed not your Konoha, this is my Konoha. This is the Konoha from where I come from, my dimension, my home. This is the site of my ultimate failure. Naruto said as he was now weeping from the memories. Hiruzen looked at the man. How? Seeing him cry seemed wrong. Someone who had as much power as he had would never cry unless absolutely needed. So this really is Konoha. Tell me how this happened. Naruto wiped the tears from his eyes and looked up. This all started when the Kyuubi attacked. Naruto went on to explain what happened with the Akatsuki and the war minus becoming the Juubi and his talk with the gods. When the genjutsu ended, Hiruzen looked up at Naruto with a stern glacé. Do you wish to protect Konoha? The old man asked. Naruto nodded as his answer. Then with the power given to me by the fire daimyo, I grant you the title of Genin of Konoha. Go to the academy tomorrow morning at 8 am to be placed on a Genin team. The Kokage said to the blonde Juubi. Oh, and try to hide your real strength, the less questions the better, right? He said with a grandfatherly smile. May I ask you a few questions, Hokage-sama? Naruto said to the old man. Well, that was a question, wasn't it? Hiruzen replied with a smirk. Naruto deadpanned at the statement made by the old man. The Sandaime chuckled at the blonde's expense. Very well, ask your questions. Naruto nodded. Who are the current clan heirs? Naruto asked first and foremost. That is easy, they are all in the same class and are graduating this year. For the Hyuga clan, there is Hinata Hyuga, the eldest daughter of the current heir Hiashi. For the Inuzuka clan, it is Inuko Inuzuka, daughter of Sum Inuzuka. From the Uchiha, it's Sayuri Uchiha, daughter of Makoto Uchiha and Fugaku Uchiha. From the Yamanaka clan there is the daughter of Inoichi, Ino, as well as the heirs to the Akamaiki and Nara clan Choji Akamichi and Shikamaru Nara. Then there is Shino from the Ibarama. And lastly from the Uzumaki and Namikaze clans there is yourself and Narumi. The third Hokage answered the new Juubi's question. Naruto closed his eyes and thought about it for a moment. So in this world Sasuke, Kiba, and myself are female while everyone else had the same gender. Naruto knew deep down that his life will forever be different from this point on and that a new chapter in his life had begun. Hokage-sama, tell me, does Narumi and the village, how about her parents? The old Hokage nodded. Yes, she was told when she was 5 and has trained for 10 years with Jiraiya and currently knows the Rasengan and a simpler but weaker version of the Hiraishin. The old man answered the Juubi's question. Does she know about the Namikaze bloodline? Naruto asked. Hiruzen's eyes widened at this. Bloodline. He said in shock. He didn't know Minato had a bloodline. Minato himself didn't even know he had a bloodline. Yes, the Jinten, swift release, my father didn't know about it, but it was the reason why he was naturally fast without the Hiraishin. I learned about it when an old man from Iron Country recognized a technique I used by accident and told me about it. Naruto told the village leader. Well, this is good news. This means that Konoha has another bloodline now. Can you give me a demonstration of your Kekkei Genkai? Naruto nodded and started to go through hand signs. Jinten shadowless flight, Naruto said as he blurred out of existence and reappeared a few seconds later with 2 bowls of ramen. He put one down in front of the Hokage and started to eat his own. Interesting, so the Jinten gives you the ability to move at extremely high speeds. The Sarutobi concluded from the show. He took the bowl of ramen and dismissed Naruto with a anbu to show him to the hotel he would be staying in until they could talk with Narumi. After Naruto left, Hiruzen turned to his left wall. Are you there, Jiraiya? The old man asked as the wall peeled down to reveal another man. Jiraiya was a tall man with waist-length, spiky white hair tied back into a ponytail, with 2 shoulder-length bangs that framed both sides of his face. He also had red lines that ran down from his eyes and wore a horned forehead protector with the kanji for oil, which denotes his affiliation with Mount Myoboku. He also had a noticeable wart on the left side of his nose. Jiraiya wore a green short shirt kimono and matching pants, under which he wore mesh armor that showed out of the sleeves and legs of his outfit. His outfit was completed with hand guards, a simple black belt, traditional Japanese geta, wooden sandals, a red haori with 2 simple yellow circles on each side, and a scroll on his back. He also had a tattoo in his left palm. Yeah, I'm here, so what did the kid have to tell you? Jiraiya asked the Hokage. Hiruzen Ten started to go through everything that the blonde had told him within the Tsukiyomi. So what do you think, Jiraiya? Hiruzen asked his student who thought over everything that he had just heard. It sounded impossible, but his information was spot on, even on the fact that I trained Nagato and Konan, which was kept secret from everyone except for you, me, Tsunade, and Orochimaru. I say that you keep an eye on him until you can know for sure that he isn't working for someone. The white-haired sage suggested to the Hokage. Naruto walked through the village. He was to be put on a genin team again. While he hated being a genin, he knew that the Hokage didn't trust him. How could he blame the old man, a 16-year-old boy that just fell from the sky claiming to be the son of the fourth Hokage from another dimension, just asked to join your village? Yeah, that is a near unbelievable story in the first place. For all he knew, they could have killed him on the spot. Well, tried to anyways. The village in this dimension looked exactly the same as the one back home. He didn't get lost because it was all modeled after his after all. He was the Hokage for a reason, and the Hokage did not get lost in his own village. He came upon an old stand that was defiantly familiar to him, Ichiraku Ramen. He had a wistful smile on his face as he remembered all the good times he had here in his own world. The Team 7 meetings, the time when he and Aruka went there before he graduated, and his time with Jiraiya. Memories, he whispered to himself as he entered the bar. It was exactly like the one back home. There were two people already there, two girls, and by the looks of it, they were Kunoichi. He sat at the stool on the rightmost corner. Ayame, the brown-haired waitress, came to take his order. She was a copy of the one from his world. It pained him a bit to see her again since she had been killed with her father when Madara attacked the village. Hello, welcome to Ichiraku Ramen, may I take your order? She asked the blonde. Naruto nodded. Yes, can I have 10 bowls of pork ramen and 10 of miso miss? Naruto asked the brown-haired waitress. The woman stood there in near shock. In front of her was another person who could eat that much ramen. She glanced to the side at one of the other girls in the stand. Sure, it will be there in just a minute. Please wait a bit, she said as she turned to go to fulfill the order. I wonder if they're related, she thought to herself as she cooked the ramen. But Lord Hokage said that she had no family left, but this looks like a male version of her. With the two girls, hey Narumi, isn't that the guy that went with the Hokage this before? The black-haired girl asked her friend. Narumi looked over at the other customer in the stand. Yeah, he was. I don't know why, but he seems familiar for some reason, Sayuri. Narumi said to her friend. Narumi was a beautiful 15-year-old girl with a nice full hourglass figure that went well with her perky high C cup. She wore her golden blonde hair in 2 pigtails and had 2 red bangs on each side of her face. On each cheek, she had 3 whiskers-like marks. Her eyes were cerulean blue and had full red lips. She wore a dark orange and black jumpsuit jacket that was left unzipped over a black Chinese-style shirt. She also wore tight back spandex pants that reached her knees under a short orange skirt. Sayuri nodded. Yeah, he kind of looks like your father if you think about it, she said. Sayuri was an Uchiha girl and heir to be clan head. She had short black hair that was spiked back and black eyes like all Uchihas. Like her friend, she had a figure that showed years of training along with C-cup, which, while not as big as her Namikaze friend, were still large for her age. She wore a blue short-sleeved shirt that left her toned stomach out for all to see. She wore white shorts with a brown belt tilted sideways and long blue ninja sandals. Yeah, you're right, maybe they're related, Narumi said to her best friend. The man was a complete question to her. Normally she could read people easily thanks to the Kyuubi, but this man was a complete question. He had a pure white aura like that of a ghost she once saw, almost like he was already dead but came back to life. 3 Anbu blurred into existence around the man. Naruto Namikaze, by order of Danzo you are to come with us, the Anbu said to the new Juubi. Naruto glared at them from the corner of his eyes. I suggest that you leave now before you do something you regret, he said as he let his ki out. To everyone in the village it felt like a god had just appeared and was about to cast judgment. The 3 root Anbu fell to their knees and grabbed their throats. The 2 clan heirs were not faring any better than them. Naruto's ki was completely omnipresent. It was locking their bones in place and shocked their muscles into a motionless mess. What power! And according to the Anbu, he is a Namikaze. Naruto thought in absolute shock and fear. She could barely breathe and would have been knocked out by the sheer pressure if it wasn't for the Kyuubi. Sayuri was doing worse than Narumi. Since she didn't have the Kyuubi, she was on the border of fainting on the spot. This power, it's greater than that of Itachi's the day he killed the clan. Those were her finale thoughts before she fainted. Naruto looked at the gasping Anbu. Is that all? Danzo has pathetic emotionless drones. I will put you out of your misery, Amaterasu. He said as his eyes turned into his Tengen. The three Anbu screamed in pain as they were burnt to ashes. Narumi just sat there sweating from the heat of the flames. The fear she now had for her relative was on another level than it was before. Naruto placed some money on the counter and left the stands. Narumi, wanting to know more about her relative, put her money on the counter and followed. Naruto was now in a training ground outside the village. He felt his sword pulse and knew that Gaara was trying to contact him. He placed his hand on the hilt and channeled some chakra into it. Hey Gaara, is that you? Yes, it is. It's good to hear from you, Naruto. The red-haired Kazekage said to his friend. Naruto, have you tested out Sabakukas yet? He asked. Naruto shook his head. No, I haven't. I was about to train a bit with it, but I sensed someone else following me. I really wanted to get to use Sabakukas, but for now I'll hold off on it until I can get some private time to test it out. Naruto explained to his fellow former Jinchuriki. Gaara nodded in heaven. True, you still don't know what exactly is different in this world than ours. So have you met yourself in that world? The once Kazekage asked his once Hokage friend. Naruto thought about it for a moment. I think I have, but it's weird. For one, she was female, but she did have monstrous chakra reserves and wore my old orange jacket. Naruto answered his best friend's question. Maybe. Didn't the gods say that there would be differences from our world? Maybe one of those is that some of the ninja in our world that were men are now women instead. Gaara theorized. I think you may be right. Naruto agreed with his red-haired friend. Naruto's eyes snapped wide open when he realized something. Wait, could that mean that you could be female too then? Naruto asked. Gaara was pale now. He imagined himself as a woman. Naruto, never say that again, got it? But if by some chance that I am a girl, you better still help her not fall into insanity. I don't care if you marry her, just don't talk to me about it, but if you don't help her like you did to me, I'll kill you, Gaara threatened. Okay, I'll help her. For all we know, she could be hot. Naruto said to his friend. Killer intent flowed of the sword. Uzumaki, if you ever say that again, I will kill you. Gaara said to the Uzumaki. Narumi, who was hiding behind a tree near the clearing, heard every word of the conversation. The blonde man from before wasn't her relative, he was her from another world. Holy shit, I wonder if Hokage Gigi knows about this. She said in thought to herself. She felt two strong forces push her out of the conversation. Gaara narrowed his eyes. Naruto, I felt another presence in our conversation. I believe that, whoever you are in that world has the ability to connect to the sword since your souls are so similar. Maybe you should teach her a lesson about being caught while spying. Gaara said with a devious smirk that wasn't common for him. Whoa, I didn't know you could be such a prankster, Gaara. Naruto said to his friend before he vanished from sight in a blur of speed from his Jinten Jutsu. Narumi saw the man vanish and jumped out into the clearing with a kunai out. Where is he? She thought as she scanned over the field. You know you should let people get behind you. Naruto said as he leaned against a tree. Naruto spun around to see the man. I'm Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, and you are. He already knew the answer thanks to his talk with the Hokage. Narumi Uzumaki Namikaze, she said as she got into a defensive stance. If you really are from another dimension, then why are you here? She asked the blonde sage. Naruto smirked. Well, maybe if you can give me a peek at your ability, I'll tell you, but if you then you have no right to know, and I'll just finish my mission in this world. Naruto said as he drew Sabakukas. Let's dance, Naru-chan, he said. Narumi let out a war cry as he charges at him with her kunai. Don't call me that, she yelled as she stabbed Naruto in the stomach only for him to start to glow. Wah! She started before Naruto blew up, launching her across the field. Naruto jumped out of tree and swung his sword. A crescent-shaped blast of superheated wind launched out at the blonde girl. Narumi jumped out of the way of the attack as it seared the grass that it passed over and burned the tree it hit. Naruto smirked when he saw the move. I think I'll call that move Desert Heat, he said to himself. Narumi charged at the older blonde with a Rasengan in hand. Take this, she yelled only for him to vanish in a blur of speed. The Rasengan smashed into the ground, leaving a large crater in the ground. By this time the Sandaime and Jiraiya were already there to watch the battle between the Uzumakis. Sensei, do you think that Narumi-chan can win this fight? Jiraiya asked his old teacher. Hiruzen shook his head. No, Naruto-san is far too advanced for her to beat. He has more experience in combat and I sense something off about his chakra. It's like a Biju's but more potent but not as evil. The old Hokage answered his student's question. What but Narumi-chan has control over 2 tails of the Kyuubi, that should be enough to beat him. Jiraiya stated with confidence in his student. While Narumi was a genin, she could give any chunin a hard time and with the Kyuubi she could beat most jonin in the village. Hiruzen just sighed. Let's watch the battle. Narumi threw a tri-pronged kunai at Naruto who simply sidestepped, it only for Narumi to appear over him with a Rasengan in her hand. Got ya, she yelled only for Naruto to vanish once more. Hold still, she yelled as red bubble-like chakra started to appear around her and took the shape of a fox cloak. Naruto smirked when he saw this, so she's not holding back Naruto thought as he saw his female counterpart charge at him on all fours. She was far faster than before thanks to the Kyuubi inside of her, but to Naruto she was still moving in slow motion. She shot a punch at him only for him to grab it and use her forward moving force to throw her behind him. One of her tails attacked him as he threw her. But to everyone's surprise when the tail hit him, it was just absorbed into his skin. Thanks to his hair no one saw that he had his Dujutsu active. That was a good trick, he thought as he observed her strategy. Naruto turned to Narumi. I must say that for a genin you're good, I wouldn't be surprised if you made chunin early, but you're no match for me. Let's end this, Naruto said. With pleasure. She growled as she summoned 2 clones to start to form a Rasengan in her hand. Her Rasengan was now about the size of a basketball and blood red like the Kyuubi's chakra. Naruto smiled and formed a Rasengan himself, but unlike Narumi's it was the size of his palm. Naruto's Rasengan was colored differently too, it was white with a pitch black core and red lightning dancing around it. That's new, he thought to himself. Jiraiya's eyes widened when he felt Naruto's chakra, it was 10 times as potent as the Kyuubi's own yoki. What kind of monster is he? Jiraiya whispered to himself. The 2 fighters charged at each other with their arms back. When the 2 got close another together they thrust their arms out causing both Rasengans to collide. A massive shockwave caused a crater to appear under them as the wind howled from the collision. Narumi grit her teeth as she tried to overpower Naruto but couldn't beat his white Rasengan. Naruto smiled at her. You did good Naru-chan but you're not on my level, he said as his Rasengan started to push her back. Narumi's Rasengan started to bend back as Naruto's attack started to pierce its outer shell. Narumi's Rasengan gave in under the pressure and Naruto thrusted forward. Naruto's white Rasengan came within an inch of Narumi's face. I win, Naruto said as he dispelled his attack. Narumi could feel her cloak being separated by opposing attack from her male counterpart. It frightened her that even with 2 tails she was but an ant to this man. Naruto turned and started to walk back to the village. So what did you think Hokage-sama, Ero Sennin, he said as he looked over at a tree where the 2 older men were hiding. The 2 dropped their genjutsu which hid them from sight. Jiraiya frowned. How did you detect us? Jiraiya asked the blonde ninja. Naruto smirked. Secret, he said as he vanished in a blur of speed from his Jinten bloodline. So what do you think Narumi-chan? Hiruzen asked the blonde Uzumaki heir. Narumi looked down. How is he so strong? If I heard correctly he is me from another world so how is he so much stronger than me when we're the same age? She asked the two older leaf ninja. Here's inside. In his world everything happened 2 years earlier than here. He graduated at the age of 13 at the bottom of his class and trained with Jiraiya, but before he was mistreated by the village and they went as far as to torture him on his birthday. He then became the strongest ninja in the world with the use of Sage Mode and mastering the Kyuubi's chakra. He then fought in the Fourth Great Shinobi War where he defeated the Juubi, but he ended up dying along with the Kazekage. The old Sandaime Hokage explained to the young girl. Narumi's eyes widened. He had gone through all that before fighting her. She hadn't even killed anyone yet while he defeated a demon far stronger than the Kyuubi sealed inside of her. I think that he has been through a lot then. To think that by the time he was my current age he was a cage-level shinobi. She answered the question. Jiraiya, seeing a chance to tease his student, decided to speak. What do you think about him, you ally? Does being dominated by him in battle exited you? Jiraiya teased the blonde. Narumi blushed deeply and had to hold herself back from killing the Sannin. No. Why would I want to be with him? I don't even think that he's human. Did you see that chakra he had? It made the Kyuubis look like nothing. She denied the accusation. Jiraiya, seeing his student flustered, decided to continue to tease her. You know that since he is also the child of Kushina-chan and Minato-kun, he has to live with you. Who know what naughty things you two will do together? Maybe you'll revive your clan with him. He said. Narumi now had a full body blush from listening to Jiraiya teasing her. Shut up, Aro Senin. She yelled as she walked back to her family home. Stupid perverted old sage, she thought to herself as she entered her home. She walked into her bedroom and undressed herself. Narumi walked to her bathroom to take a shower. She opened the door only to crash into a muscled chest. Narumi's weight was too much for the other person and they fell back. Narumi looked at the shocked face of the man who she had just finished fighting. Blue eyes met blue eyes as they stared at each other for what seemed like an eternity. Narumi observed Naruto's ripped muscles while Naruto glazed over Narumi's body. He's jacked. She's hot. Both realized that they had been looking at each other for a long time. Both blushed and looked away from each other. Narumi got off of Naruto and looked down. I'm sorry, I should have used your bathroom without your permission. Naruto shuddered out. It's okay, Naruto-san. I should have known that you would be here. She said back to the male blonde. A few minutes later Narumi walked out of the bathroom fully clothed now. The two blonde now sat on a large couch in the living room. So, you're me from what I understand? She asked the Juubi. Naruto smiled kindly at her. Yeah, I guess I'll be living with you. I'll take a guest room, he said, but was interrupted by Narumi. No, you beat me fair and square. You should take the master bedroom. She said back to her fellow blonde who frowned. No, this was your home first, so you should keep it. Naruto insisted that Narumi keep her room. Narumi frowned and shook her head. No, you should take it since you had to go through so much before you were my age. She responded with tears building up in her eyes. Naruto's eyes widened at the statement. He told you? He asked her, already knowing the answer. Narumi nodded her response. Look, I don't care about my past, that was in another world. It's your bed, so you're keeping it. Narumi couldn't respond, so she decided to just nod. Later that night, Narumi tossed and turned in her sleep. Her dreams were plagued with visions of armies attacking each other. A giant 10-tailed monster was destroying everything in its paths. She saw the 5 villages get destroyed by the monster while a red-eyed man fought 2 other men, one with blonde hair and one with red hair. Narumi woke up gasping for air. She had sweat dripping from her brow. She stood up and walked over to Naruto's bedroom. She knocked on the door and waited for a few seconds. She heard footsteps from the other side which stopped before the door opened. Narumi-chan, what is it? The older blonde asked the girl as he rubbed his tired eyes. I had a nightmare. Can I sleep with you? She asked with her cheeks stained a dark pink. Naruto yawned. Yeah, sure, he said as he let her in. Both got into bed. First thing she noticed was that Naruto's mere presence radiated heat. Narumi couldn't help but cuddle into Naruto's body, trying to absorb as much heat as she could from him. She fell asleep, but this time she had no nightmares. Naruto woke up to find something pressing on his back. The blonde Uzumaki looked back to see Narumi snuggling happily into him with a heartwarming smile that made his heart melt, but then he realized something. Why is she in my bed? He thought to himself. He then remembered that he had let her in last night since she was having nightmares. He had been so sleepy that he didn't even know what he was doing at the time. He tried to get out of her grip, but it seemed that the more he tried to get away, the more she pulled him in closer like a teddy bear. Sighing to himself, he made a shadow clone and replaced himself with the clone so that he could go make breakfast for the two. Naruto left the bedroom, leaving a sleeping Narumi and a very happy clone. He walked downstairs to the kitchen and started to look through the cabinets for ingredients for him to make food for him and his female self Narumi. He had found that Narumi had every kind of food imaginable in her kitchen. Damn you, Gigi. If only you had told the village who my parents were, I could have had a much better life. He mentally cursed the Sandame from his world. He made 2 clones and sent them to start making eggs and bacon. He himself stated to mix ingredients to make a batter for a food that he had learned of in Snow Country called pancakes. He had tried them once and had loved them not nearly as much as ramen, but they were in his top 10 list of food. I took him about half an hour to finish making the meal. He made 2 full plates and went to set them on the table. Much to his surprise, Narumi was already sitting down with utensils in her hands and a small drop of drool coming out of her open mouth as she stared at the food Naruto had made. How did she get her so fast? Naruto asked himself in confusion. A few minutes before with Narumi. Narumi stirred as she started to wake up from her peaceful slumber. She looked down to see the sleeping form of Naruto and wondered why he was in her room. She lightly shook him, causing him to awaken as well. Naruto, what are you doing in my room? She asked the blonde. Naruto raised an eyebrow at the question. What are you talking about? You're in my room, remember? He said to her. Narumi looked around and for the first time noticed that she was indeed not in her room but in Naruto's. Oh, yeah, sorry, she said as she sheepishly rubbed the back of her head. Then the two smelled something heavenly. Oh, it seems that the boss has finished your breakfast. Naruto said before he poofed out of existence, leaving the blonde Kyuubi Jinchuriki by herself. She ran to her room and put on her normal outfit, which was identical to the one she wore yesterday, except that she put on a red tank top, not a black shirt like before. She ran down to the table just as Naruto was exiting the kitchen with 2 plates of food. She couldn't help but drool at the wonderful smell coming off the dishes that the male Namikaze carried in. Good morning, Naruto, she said to the blonde Juubi as he set the plates down. Good morning, Naru-chan. Naruto sat down at the table across from her and started to eat his food. The use of his pet name for her caused a small blush to appear on Narumi's cheeks, which caused Naruto to chuckle. Narumi pouted but decided to focus of the food in front of her. She picked up a knife and fork and started to eat her own food. At the first bite, her eyes widened in pure bliss. Naruto noticed Narumi's expression and smirked. I'm guessing you like my cooking, he said to his female counterpart. Narumi nodded as she started to literally shove more food into her mouth, causing Naruto to sweat drop at the sight. Once the two finished eating, Narumi was almost begging Naruto to make the same for the next day. Naru-chan, it's not healthy to eat the same thing over and over again. While it tastes good, it is also unhealthy. I made it today because it was my first day here. But Naru-kun, it was so good, she said as she cried anime tears. Naruto could resist laughing at the adorable face that she was making and the pet name she made for him. I'll make it again one day, just not every day, Naru-chan. And since when have you called me Naru-kun? He asked the blonde girl. Narumi smirked at the question. Well, if you get to tease me, then I'll tease you, Naru-kun, she said to the older blonde. Naruto smiled at that. Well, as long as I get to call you Naru-chan, I'm okay with it, he said as he headed for the door. Naruto motioned for her to follow. Come on, Naru-chan, we have to get our teams today. Narumi's eyes widened since she had forgotten about it as ran to catch up to Naruto. Wait up, Naru-kun. She yelled as the boy continued to get farther and farther ahead of her. Naruto stopped and waited for her to catch up to him. Hokage's office. The old man looked at the three Jonin in front of him. The three were his own son Asuma Sarutobi, the student of the fourth Hokage who was a woman with silver hair Kazumi Hatake Kakashi, the last was a Kurenai Yuhi the Genjutsu mistress of Konoha. Asuma was a tall man, with brown eyes, short, black spiky hair, and beard. His clothing consisted of the standard Konoha ninja uniform with the sleeves rolled up halfway, flak jacket, regular shinobi sandals and forehead protector. He also wore the 12 Guardian Ninja sash that had the kanji for fire marked on it around his waist, a pair of black bangles and bandages wrapped around the arms of his sleeves. Kazumi had wild silver hair that came to her shoulders with a bang that covered her left eye while her other eye left viewable. She wore a black mask that covered the lower half of her face. Her outfit consisted of a sleeveless black shirt with a Jonin jacket that covered her large D-cups and spandex shorts with white tape wrapped around her right thigh. Kurenai was a fairly tall and light-skinned woman of slender build. She had long, black, shoulder-length untamed hair, and very unique eyes that are red in color, with an additional ring in them. She wore makeup consisting of red lipstick and purple eyeshadow. Her regular outfit consisted of a red mesh armor blouse with only the right sleeve visible. Over this is very broad material which resembles bandages with a pattern on it similar to those of rose thorns. Her hands and upper thighs are also wrapped in bandages and she wears the Konoha forehead protector and regular shinobi sandals. The old Hokage took out 3 pieces of paper from his desk. These will be your teams, you will train them until they become chunin. Kazumi-chan, you will train Sayuri Uchiha, Narumi Uzumaki Namikaze, and a new genin called Naruto Namikaze. He said as he took out a picture of the blonde. Kazumi's visible eye widened at the sight of the picture. He looks just like Minato-sensei. Must be a clan features. She concluded from the picture with a small blush staining her hidden cheeks. But I thought that I had requested Sakura Haruno be on the team. She asked the Sandame. Hiruzen nodded. Yes you did, but trust me when I say that he will fit in better in an assault team like yours than a infiltration, recon, or tracking. The old man explained to the silver-haired woman. Kazumi sighed and accepted the new member of her team. Asuma-kun, you will have Ino Yamanaka, Choji Akamaiki, and Shikimaru Nara on your team. Kurenai-chan, you will have Hinata Hyuga, Inuko Inazuka, and Shino Arurame. He finished going through the list for the graduating class. The 2 Jonin nodded and head for the door with Kakashi. Kazumi-chan, could you stay here for a moment? The silver-haired Jonin turned back and nodded. Yes Hokage-sama, she asked the old man. Hiruzen then got serious. This is about Naruto Namikaze. I want to tell you that he is dangerous, very dangerous to an unimaginable degree. While I have only fight once against Narumi, I can tell that he was holding back much of his power and I believe that he may also possibly have a variant of the Sharingan. I want you to report on behaviors that could suggest that he is a traitor to the Leaf, okay? The Sandame Hokage of Konoha told the mask-wearing woman. The Jonin nodded and left in a whirl of leaves. Hiruzen sighed and looked out the window behind his desk. What are you hiding, Naruto? He asked himself before he sat back down at his desk only for it to be full of stacks of paperwork. Ink paperwork. He thought as he started to sign the forms. Academy. As they walked through the halls, everyone who they passed were giving looks of lust at the 2 blondes as they walked to their destination. All the girls were giving Naruto looks that screamed, I want to have your children. At him, while the boys gave Narumi a look that said, I want you to bear my children. Either way it kind of scared him. Fangirls. He shivered as he reached the classroom. It was exactly like the one in his world before pain destroyed it during his attack. He noticed Sayuri looking out the window the same way Sasuke used to back in his academy years when he was sane. He noticed that everyone looked the same except that Kiba was indeed a female. She had wild brown hair that reached her mid-back. She wore a sleeveless coat with black fur around the neck area that slid a little above the thighs in front, showing her toned legs and short black shorts. Like the Kiba from his world, she had a red fang tattoo on each cheek. When the two walked into the classroom, everyone turned their attention to them. The first person to come up to them was Ino Yamanaka. She dressed exactly like she did back when she was a genin. "Narumi-chan, who's your friend?" she said as she eyes Naruto. "He's my cousin from my father's side. He came to the leaf yesterday to become a ninja," Narumi explained to her fellow blonde girl. "Oh, a cousin she said as she walked over to Naruto and wrapped her arms around his neck, pushing her high B cups into his chest. "Hey, I'm Ino, but you can just call me the girl of your dreams," she introduced herself in a seductive tone. Narumi didn't know why, but she felt like killing the other blonde girl who was holding onto Naruto. Naruto just blushed at the close contact between the two. "Well, I don't know about that last thing, but my name in Naruto Namikaze," Naruto said as he tried to get out of the blonde's hold without hurting or killing her. "Oh, Naruto-kun, don't be like that, you know you want M." Ino was cut off by the female Kiba yelling at her. "Get off the man," she yelled as she stormed down the steps to the front of the room. Ino let go of Naruto as glared at the brown-haired girl. "Shut, dog breath. I'm trying to get a boyfriend, unlike your tomboy," Ino yelled back, the Inuzuka air. "What was that, you blonde whore? At least I try to get to know a guy before I try and date him," the brown-haired girl yelled back at the Yamanaka air. Both girls continued to bicker until a wave of power washed over the entire classroom. Everyone turned to Naruto, who was facing them with his eyes closed and a sickly sweet smile that he had learned from Mei the Mizukage. "Girls, please stop fighting now," he said in a creepy tone that promised pain if they didn't stop as he opened his eyes, revealing glowing blue orbs for eyes that screamed powered. Everyone in the room felt as if someone was holding them by the throat and that they would die if they did a single thing that whoever was causing the aura didn't like. A particular Uchiha had some rather strange thoughts about the feeling though. Sayuri Uchiha looked at Naruto with hunger in her eyes. She respected power, which is why she and Narumi became such quick friend, and this man had lots of it. "He would be perfect to help me remake my clan. I wouldn't mind sharing him either because of the CRA if it was passed," she thought to herself while trying to look at him directly. "Ino-chan, why don't you go talk to your pink-haired friend over there?" he said as he pointed at Sakura. He then turned to the female Kiba. "I'm sorry, miss, I didn't get your name," he asked. "I Inuko." She shuddered out. The powerful aura that Naruto was putting out was turning her on, to say that least. Since her clan had some dog-like properties, females are often drawn to males with large amounts of power who would dominate them while mating. "Nice to meet you, Inuko-chan, maybe we can get to know each other better over lunch one day," Naruto suggested to Inuko. Inuko blushed madly since he was basically asking her out on a date. Sure, how about this Saturday?" she managed to say out. Naruto's omnipresent aura vanished as he smiled kindly. "Sure, I'll pick you up at noon," he said to the brown-haired dog girl, who simply nodded. "Naruto-kun, why can't you take me on a date? I know that you can take more than one wife since you're the last male in your clan." Ino whined to the blonde demon, causing him to blush since he had forgot about that law that was about to be passed on him if the war hadn't started. Inuko glared at the Yamanaka, who was asking her man to date her. Wait, since when was he her man? She knew full and well about the Clan Restoration Act of the Shadaime Hokage and really didn't care if she had to share, but she did care about the reasons that girls wanted to be with a guy. She hated girls who only wanted a guy for power and wealth, which is why she despised Sakura and to a lower extent Ino. Naruto sighed. "Fine, Ino-chan, but next week since I'm taking Inuko-chan out this week," he said as he walked with Narumi up to where Sayuri was sitting. Narumi sat next to Sayuri and Naruto next to her. "Hey Sayuri-chan," Naruto said to her best friend. Sayuri smiled kindly at Narumi. She was her ray of hope after the Uchiha incident and kept her from becoming a power-hungry freak. She would even say that she was a bit bi for Narumi in a way. Hey Narumi-chan, isn't that the man who killed those Anbu back in the ramen stand? She said in a hushed voice as she pointed at Naruto. Narumi nodded. Yeah, that's Naru-kun. He's staying with me at my clan home since he is a Namikaze after all. She said to the raven-haired girl. Sayuri smirked. Oh, he's staying at your house. Narumi, you naughty girl. Who knows what things you two must have done during the night? She teased her friend. Several men and a few women fainted from massive blood loss at the statement. Hey, maybe I could join you two next time. She Joker really half joked. Narumi was now covered in a full body blush. It's not like that. He was part of the clan, so I let him stay there. She denied the accusations. Oh, and you didn't get into bed with him? Sayuri asked in a teasing tone. How did you know I did that? She screamed out her question before covering her mouth with both hands at what she had just said. Everyone in the class just looked at her wide-eyed. They couldn't believe what they just heard. Narumi Uzumaki Namikaze slept in the same bed as his male cousin after knowing him one day. Whoa, Narumi-chan, I didn't know you were so forward like that. Sayuri said. It wasn't like that. I had a nightmare and he comforted me at night. She said before realizing what she had just said. Oh, you loud. Naruto just watched everything go down with a large blush on his face. So you don't feel anything for him? Sayuri said to her blonde friend. Hey, they may be best friends, but she couldn't pass up this opportunity to tease her. No, Narumi yelled at her. So you wouldn't mind if I do this, she said as she jumped on Naruto and planted a kiss on his lips. Naruto's eyes widened at the surprise kiss from the female Uchiha. Narumi felt something inside her snap when she saw this. She growled as she pulled Sayuri of Naruto. Get of my man. She yelled at the girl, at the raven-haired girl. Naruto blushed even more. Her man? He questioned in his mind. So he's your man now? Sayuri said. Secretly she was enjoying the sensation that came with that kiss. She could get used to it. I meant my cousin. That's it, my cousin, she said as she stressed the word cousin. Just in time to stop Narumi from embarrassing herself even more, Iruka appeared in a plume of smoke. Congratulations all of you for graduating the academy, he started as he went through an hour-long speech about being a reasonable ninja and always doing your job. And the teams are as following. Team 1, Team 7 will be Narumi Uzumaki Namikaze, Sayuri Uchiha, and Naruto Namikaze. Your Jonin sensei will be Kazumi Hatake. Team 8 will be Hinata Hyuga, Inuko Inuzuka, and Shino Arurame. Your Jonin will be Kurenai Yuhi. Team 9 is still in circulation from last year, so Team 10 will be Ino Yamanaka, Shikamaru Nara, and Choji Akamaiki. Your sensei will be Asuma Sarutobi. Iruka read out loud for the class to hear. There were a few complaints from Sakura and Ino, but besides that everyone was okay with. Narumi was excited about their Jonin sensei for some reason, so Naruto decided to ask her. Hey Naru-chan, why are you so excited about having Kakashi as your sensei? Naruto asked the blonde Jinchuriki next to him. Narumi looked at him with a large smile that could make the sun jealous, because Kakashi Nichan helped take care of me when I was younger in the village. Nei-chan, Naruto thought to himself. As Iruka left, several Jonin came in to pick up their teams. Lastly, 3 adults walked into the room. The one called Asuma called his team to meet him at the barbecue bar in half an hour, while the woman Kurenai Yuhi told her team to follow, leaving Team 7 alone with a silver-haired woman. Naruto blushed at the sheer beauty of the Jonin in front of him. Meet me on the rooftop in 10 minutes. She said in an angelic but bored tone as she shunshined away from the room. Naruto followed in a shunshin of black fire with Narumi and Sayuri on tail with their leaf shunshin. Kazumi appeared on the rooftop and took out her little orange book and started to read. She never noticed the blonde behind her looking over her shoulder. What are you reading? Naruto asked the silver-haired Kunoichi, shocking her that he was able to get behind her without her knowing. She quickly closed the book and put it away. On the outside she kept a calm expression while on the inside she was freaking out. How in the name of Ika Ika was he able to get behind me without me noticing? She screamed in her head, she was a Jonin, god damn it. Naruto smiled kindly at her. Kazumi could feel herself blushing at how charming he looked with his smile. Hey, are you okay? You look red, do you have a fever? Naruto asked innocently as he placed his palm on her forehead, which caused her to further blush at the contact. Kazumi quickly pulled back, still blushing. No, I'm fine, she said just as the other two genin arrived at the scene. Kazumi sighed in relief that the other two girls had finally arrived. She turned to where Naruto was standing to find him gone. She looked back at the girls to find Naruto sitting between them. How did he get there so quickly? She thought to herself in shock. Nei-chan, is something the matter? Narumi asked the older Kunoichi with worry in her eyes. No, nothing is wrong, she said, causing Naruto to smirk. On the inside, she was now realizing why the Hokage was telling her to be careful around him. Now let's start with introduction. Just tell us your likes, dislikes, hobbies, and dreams. She explained to the three. Why don't you give us an example and go first, sensei? Naruto suggested to the silver-haired Kunoichi. Kazumi just glared at Naruto before nodding. Very well, my name is Kazumi Hatake. I don't feel like telling you my likes or dislikes, and my hobbies are none of your concern. As for dreams, I don't really have one, she said, causing the three to sweat drop. Naruto smirked. You like porn and dislike those who look down at said reading material. Your hobbies are reading porn and mourning for your lost teammates. Your dream is to star in a Ika film, Naruto said, to the surprise of the three women on the roof who looked at him wide-eyed. How did he know all that? He's known me for less than a minute and he was able to deduce all that. She thought in shock. She knew now that there was more to this boy Naruto than he was showing. Good guess, why don't you go? She said to the oldest genin. Sure. My name in Naruto Namikaze. I like training, ramen, my friends and family. I dislike traitors, arrogant people, the time it takes to make ramen, and those that can't tell the difference between a scroll and a sealed kunai. My hobbies are training and pranking. My dream in more of an ambition since I will make it come true, which is world peace and ending the cycle of hatred that controls this world. Naruto said to the surprise of Kakashi. Naruto sounded completely serious when he talked about bring peace to the world. Kazumi nodded and pointed to Narumi. Go Imoto, she said with a small smile behind her mask. Narumi nodded. I'm Narumi Uzumaki Namikaze. My likes and dislikes are the same as my cousin, plus I hate rapers and perverts. My hobbies are training, pranking, and hanging out with my friends. My dream is to have a family and be the best Hokage, she said to the group, who pretty much already knew all that. Kazumi nodded. Okay, Sayuri-chan, you're up. My name is Sayuri Uchiha. I like tomatoes, Narumi-chan, and training. I dislike rapers, perverts, the civilian council and my older brother. My hobbies are training and hanging out with Narumi-chan. My dream is to revive my clan and bring a certain person to justice, she said to the group. Naruto thought about what she said. She is far more open than Sasuke used to be. Narumi must have had a large part in that. Maybe if I had taken a bigger part in Sasuke's life when then I could have saved him from his darkness. No, I have to leave that behind me. This is a new world and a new life that I have been gifted with, and I will save this world, he thought to himself. The three females watched as his face shows several emotion, including grief, regret, anger, but also hope and determination. Kazumi started to speak, which snapped him out of his thoughts. Good, we'll meet at training ground 7 tomorrow at 6 in the morning. We will have a test to determine if you're truly fit to be ninja for Konoha, she told the three genin. Sayuri looked confused. Sensei, didn't we already pass that test? She asked the silver-haired Kunoichi. No, that test was to weed out the weaker ones that are unfit to be even considered at the moment. This will be your true test. If you pass, then we will start taking missions. Oh, and don't eat breakfast tomorrow morning or you'll throw up, she said after her explanation. She then shunshined out off the roof. Naruto stood up and looked down at the two sitting girls. I suggest that you three go to the training ground 3 hours late and do eat breakfast. You need all the energy you can get, he said as he shunshined off the roof. Hey Narumi-chan, want to go shopping? Sayuri asked her best friend. She wanted to spend more time with her friend and see if she could get any information on the male blonde that was currently living with her. Sure thing, Sayuri-chan. Plus I owe you for leaving you on at the ramen stand unconscious. Narumi said with a bright smile. Yeah, I almost forgot about that, Sayuri deadpanned. That night, Naruto was looking out at the village from the top of Minato's head on the Hokage monument. The most powerful ninja village looked like a thousand suns as it was lit by the lights of the many shops that existed within. It's a beautiful sight, isn't it? Itachi, Naruto said without turning around. Out of the shadow of one of the trees that was behind the monument. How did you know I was here? The older Uchiha asked the blonde shinobi. Naruto stood up and looked back at the black-haired man. That is none of your concern, Naruto stated with narrowed eyes. What do you want? He said. While Naruto respected Itachi from his world for putting the village first and protecting it, he still resented him for ing up Sasuke's mind with hatred. Itachi narrowed his eyes at Naruto. I was ordered to come here and offer you a spot in the organization that I joined, he started but was cut off by Naruto. You think that I would join the Akatsuki? I'm sure that you guys think that you know all about me thanks to that plant freak Zetsu, huh? Naruto said, much to the surprise of the older Uchiha. How does he know so much already? The Akatsuki has let almost no information out other that we are mercenaries. On top of that, he knows about Zetsu. He could be trouble. I should take him out now if he refuses. The older Uchiha thought in a slight panic. Naruto snorted. Take your offer at Tell Nagato or Pain or whatever that he is calling himself to shove it up his. I refuse to join you, and if you even try to touch Narumi-chan, he didn't need to finish the sentence as he released his killer intent. Itachi's breath hitched as the wave of malice and hatred hit him. He glared at Naruto and activated his Mangekyo Sharingan. I have no choice. Hido in Tsukiyomi. He spoke as he looked into Naruto's eyes. Tsukiyomi world. Naruto found himself crucified on a stone cross. He looked up at the crimson-red sky with a red moon. The ground under him was pitch black. I'm sorry, but I have to kill you, no, Itachi said as he and 3 copies of himself appeared. Naruto smirked. You think that you've beaten me, How foolish of you to think that. Naruto mocked as he channeled chakra into the seal of his hand, releasing the first and second seal, raising his chakra level from 2 tails to 6 tails in a matter of seconds. The burst of power shattered the Uchiha's ultimate genjutsu. The world seemed to break like glass around Naruto. Real world. Itachi was now on his knees, panting as he held his bleeding right eye. He looked up at Naruto with his normal left eye. He was now worried. This man had broken his ultimate genjutsu and unleashed a Biju-level pulse of chakra. He was certain that every ninja in the village would have felt that if he hadn't placed a barrier around the monument. What is he? He broke out of it without a Sharingan, he thought. He looked down at his left hand and noticed that it had white cracks in it. Should I have to go? He thought as he turned to leave on, only to hear 2 words that he never thought he would hear. Bansho Tenin. He felt himself being pulled towards the blonde. Itachi summoned his katana and stabbed into the ground to hold himself in place. Naruto grit his teeth as he felt his jutsu losing strength. Shit, I haven't gotten well enough control over this one yet. I was true. His recharge time for his Shinra Tensei was about 20 seconds while Nagato's was 5 and his Bansho Tenin was only half as strong as his fellow Uzumaki. He wasn't even able to create the Chibaku Tensei. His Sharingan skill were slightly better since he could summon the flames of Amaterasu and use the Tsukiyomi, but neither were on par with Itachi's, and his Susanoo was only an arm. Naruto stopped his jutsu and got into his taijutsu stance. Itachi by now had already gotten back on his feet and was ready to fight. You may have more raw power than me, but my eyes are stronger, Itachi said to the blonde. Really? Take a look, he said as he looked at Itachi right in the eye, showing him what Naruto called his Tengen. These are the most powerful eyes in the world. Naruto said with full confidence. He always wanted a chance to beat up Itachi and now was his perfect chance to do it. Itachi's eyes widened as he saw the rippled eyes of the Namikaze heir. But what scared him was the 9 tomo in each eye. They look like a cross between the Rinnegan and Sharingan, he whispered himself. I'll let you have the first move. Naruto said to Uchiha. The black-haired male didn't respond as he dashed forward and launched a kick at Naruto's right kidney. Less than a second before the attack could hit, Naruto blurred out of the way and reappeared 10 meters to the left. Too slow, Itachi, he said as he dashed forward at the Uchiha. Naruto launched a punch at Itachi's head only for the Uchiha to predict it thanks to his Sharingan and catch it. Itachi threw Naruto forward and started to do hand signs. Kaden Grand Fire Ball Jutsu, Itachi said under his breath as he put his right hand in front of his mouth and spat out a large fire ball at Naruto. Shinra Tensei, Naruto said as he deflected the fire ball with a blast of gravity in mid-air. Naruto landed on his feet as did his own hand size. Doden Rock Saber Killer Jutsu, he said as he slammed his palms on the ground. A massive spear of rock shot out from under Itachi, who jumped back in time to dodge it. Kaden Fire Dragon Jutsu, Edik said as he launched a blazing dragon at the blonde, Genin. 14, 15, 16, shit, no time. He thought as he waited for his Shinra Tensei to recharge. He instead put out his hand and absorbed the fiery dragon into himself. He felt his body rejecting the chakra. He had theorized that since he now used Yoki not chakra, his body would not accept normal chakra without training, and he was right. Raiden False Darkness said as he performed his single snake hand signs. He opened his mouth as a ray of lightning at the Uchiha. The attack hit only for Itachi to be replaced with a log. Naruto jumped out of the way as a stream of black fire shot out from behind him. Naruto noticed that the fires were following him and would get him once he touched the ground. He then had a risky idea as he summoned a long pitch black tail which he used to grab onto a tree and used it pull himself to it. As the flame head towards the tree he was on now, he started doing more hand signs. Fuinjutsu Fire Sealing Method, he said as pulled out a scroll and placed the seal. The black flames were quickly absorbed into the scroll. Itachi grinned his teeth as the blonde had defeated 2 of his 3 Mangekyo Jutsu now and his eyes were starting to hurt. You shouldn't let your opponent get behind you, Naruto said as he kicked Itachi in the head, launching him into a rock that cracked and shattered from the pressure. Itachi slowly got back on his feet, this time his entire body was covered in white cracks. I wish that I didn't have to use this, but I will not die here or by your hands, he said in a voice that seemed to alternate in pitches as going from male to female. A red flame-like aura surrounded Itachi as bones started to appear, forming a massive skeleton with an extra set of arms linked at the elbow. Once the bones finished growing, muscles started to wrap around the bones that had already appeared, which was followed by skin. The final part was a red cloak that covered its entire body as a flame-like sword appeared in its right hand while a flame-like shield appeared in its left. In its second right hand was a sake jar. This is my ultimate ninjutsu, Susanoo, Itachi said to the blonde in his alternating voice. Both of his eyes were bleeding now. Naruto frowned at this. He knew from personal experience how strong Itachi's Susanoo was with that shield of his, plus the sword of Totsuka which would seal him away if he got hit. Yeah, this was going to be a pain. Looks like this is the perfect time to try this out, Naruto said as he was encircled by a black sphere. You are the first one to see me transform. Even I don't know what I will look like, but I know that it will be fearsome, Naruto said. The orb around him was now pitch black, blocking Itachi's view of the body. The orb started to expand until it was about to reach about the size of his Susanoo. The orb stopped growing a bit short of matching Itachi's Susanoo's size. The orb started to crack as a large amounts of chakra started to leak out. The orb eventually shattered to reveal Naruto's demon form. Naruto's new form was a near copy of the fully revived Juubi, only smaller. It had a humanoid torso that was colored silver, the rest was pitch black. It had 2 clawed hands and long arms and legs. Jolting out from its back were several black spikes. His head was now elongated and had a massive jaw and giant singular eye with spikes shooting out of the back. Behind it were 6 long black tails. Naruto roared, causing the ground under him to crack. Itachi looked at Naruto's new form with fear. The power he was putting out was Biju level, and he knew that even his Susanoo would be hard-pressed against it now. Is he a Biju? But we have data on all Biju so far, and the Rokubi was a giant slug. Itachi thought. Well, what do I look like? Naruto asked in his now deep demonic voice. He saw Itachi staring at him with a hint of fear. I guess that it's scary then. Naruto said to the Uchiha. Itachi narrowed his eyes. What are you? The Uchiha asked the demon Naruto. Naruto roared into the sky, I am Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, the god of judgment. The Juubi Naruto yelled out at the Uchiha. While the barrier Itachi put up blocked Naruto's chakra from being felt and them from being heard, Naruto's demon prescience caused the moon to turn red in the sky. Everywhere in the elemental nations people saw the red moon. Itachi had to cover his ears to block out the roar. Well then, God of Judgment, let's see if you deserve that title, he said as his Susanoo swung the legendary sword. Naruto jumped back to dodge the blade. Naruto started to gather black positive and white negative chakra into a large purple sphere in its mouth. The sphere compressed as Naruto ate it. Itachi knew what was about to happen, put up his shield to block the attack. The Juubi unleashed his attack that ripped the ground under it as it crashed into Itachi's shield. Itachi's Susanoo was slowly pushed back by the attack as his Yata mirror started to crack. Before it could fully break, Naruto's attack ran out of energy. Itachi panted as his shield started to repair itself. He charged at Naruto with the intent of sealing him away. Naruto sidestepped Itachi's vertical slash and jumped back when he went for a horizontal. Naruto slid back, then charged forward and punched Itachi's Susanoo in the face, launching it back. Naruto started to gather small beams of red energy into the tips of each of his 6 tails. Let's see you block this. Spear of Heaven 6 tails beam. Naruto roared as he shot out 6 beams of chakra at Itachi's Susanoo. Itachi brought up the Yata mirror to block the attacks. The 6 beams hit the semi-reformed shield, leaving 6 creators in it. Is that all? Itachi panted as his eye were now bloodshot and streaks of blood flowed down his face. Check again, Naruto said as cracks started to form on the mirror before it completely fell apart. Looks like your shield isn't as strong as you thought. Naruto laughed as Itachi gasped that his ultimate defense had been beaten. I'm not done yet, he yelled as he charged at Naruto. He swung his sword at Naruto, who dodged every attack. Using his 2 free left arms, he grabbed 2 of Naruto's tails and threw him against the wall of the mountain. Die! Itachi yelled as he stabbed Naruto in the chest. Naruto felt himself being pulled into the sake jar in the Susanoo's second right hand. I will not be beaten. I will protect this village. I will protect the world. Naruto roared as he created a small Biju bomb, but it was covered in lightning. Light hack. Naruto roared as he shot a thin yellow beam with a black outline. The attack pierced the Susanoo and hit Itachi in the stomach and went through it, leaving a hole that was 6 inches in diameter. Itachi's Susanoo faded as the black-haired man fell to the ground holding his stomach. Naruto shrank back into his human form and reactivated the first 2 seals on his hand. He noticed that Itachi was different now, since his hair was longer now and his face was less masculine. He seemed to have grown a bit shorter and had 2 large bulges on his chest which were slightly visible thanks to most of his clothes being destroyed around the midsection. His hips were wider than before. Is he a woman? Naruto thought to himself as he walked over to the body. The last thing Itachi saw before he fainted was Naruto approaching him. Please don't kill me, he begged. Naruto didn't respond, he just continued to walk towards him. Itachi stirred as he woke from his slumber. His eye fluttered open as he sat up from his bed. He looked around at his surroundings and found that he was in a cave barely lit by a small torch. He looked down and saw 2 things. One was that he was now a she, and that his midsection was wrapped in bandages. So you've awakened, a voice said from a shadowed corner of the room. Naruto walked out from the darkness. You were in bad shape after our battle, Naruto said with a small smirk. Itachi's eyes widened when he said that. He remembered trying to recruit the blonde but ending up battling him. He remembered the blonde turning into a black-colored tailed beast and fighting him. Then at the end, where the blonde demon fired a beam of lightning. You were that monster that I was fighting, she gasped. Naruto looked at her and nodded. Yes, that was me, but that's not important right now. Let's start with some simple questions. Who are you really? Naruto asked the black-haired girl. Itachi, while not wanting to, was in no condition to resist at the moment. My real name is Izumi Uchiha. I am one of 4 remaining Uchihas in the world. She answered the blonde's question. Naruto smiled and nodded. Thank you, Izumi-san. Now I already know why you killed your clan, so you will not have to explain that to me, he said to her surprise. Naruto's smile turned into a frown. But back to business, what have you learned about the Akatsuki so far? Izumi sighed. For now we're just trying to gain more funds by doing jobs around the elemental nations, but we will soon start to hunt the Jinchuriki. I can't tell you any more, the raven-haired woman said to the blonde demon. Naruto just stared at her in the eyes. Izumi felt as if her world was getting set ablaze by the simple stare the blonde was giving her. Very well. Now before we continue, I'll let you ask a few questions of your own, Naruto said as he took a seat at the base of the bed. Who are you? Naruto smiled. That's a good question. Well, my name is Naruto Namikaze. I am currently a genin, but only because the Hokage doesn't trust me with a higher rank yet. My team is made up of Kazumi Hatake, Sayuri Uchiha, your sister, and Narumi Uzumaki Namikaze, my cousin, Naruto said with a smile. Izumi thought over the information she was just given. The man in front of her was a genin on her sister's squad, yet he could defeat her in combat. What are your intentions? She asked the blonde demon. Well, my goal in life is a simple in nature but hard to obtain. I want world peace, but not the kind that the Madara wants, but true peace through understanding, Naruto said to the former male. Now I believe that it is my turn to ask you a question, Izumi-san, Naruto said to the Uchiha. Izumi nodded and motioned for him to proceed with his questioning. Tell me, why were you disguised as a male in the first place? Naruto asked. Izumi looked down at the bed as tears built up in her eyes. My father never truly loved me. He was always disappointed in me for being a female. He didn't want a weak heir, and to him females were weak. So he decided that his next child would be the next head of the clan, not me. But the Sayuri was born, another daughter. Seeing that he had another daughter, he forced me to pretend to be a male so the clan would not lose face, she said, tears openly cascading down her cheeks like twin waterfalls. Naruto grit his teeth at what Fugaku had done to his daughter. What a horrible thing to do, to make someone act like another. It was disrespect to life, nature, and females. Naruto moved over to Izumi and brought her into a comforting embrace. That's horrible. I'm sorry that you had to go through that. Izumi blushed slightly when she felt Naruto's well-developed muscles under his shirt. Izumi steeled herself and stopped crying, pushing Naruto away. There is nothing for you to be sorry about, she said to the blonde who was still smiling at her. Naruto looked at the door. Well, it seems like our time is up since your partner is coming. I'll leave you 2 parting gifts as a show of trust to you. First is a seal that I put on your right hand, which allows you to activate a genjutsu that will make you look like Itachi. It cannot be deactivated by anyone but you and me. Lastly, I'll leave you a Hiraishin kunai in case you ever want to talk with me, Naruto said as he handed her the small blade. I'll take care of Sayuri, don't worry. Just as he said, Kisame burst through the wall. There you are, Itachi, Kisame said as he bared his sword, the Samahana. Kisame was a tall man with pale blue skin with short black hair spiked upwards. Found you, Itachi-san, the shark name said to the now male again Uchiha. Kisame Hoshigaki, the monster of the mist. Naruto said out loud to the two. Naruto made a single hand sign. Well, I already did what I needed to do so far. Well, Naruto said as he walked towards the door. Kisame being the battle-loving monster he is charged at the Namikaze. Oh no you don't, he yelled out as he swung at Naruto with his Samahana. Shinra Tensei, Naruto whispered, causing a blast of gravity to launch Kisame back to the wall next to Izumi. Naruto glared at Kisame with his Tengen active. Tell you leader that no matter how strong he thinks his eyes are, my will always be stronger. Naruto said as his eyes glowed red before he vanished in a blur of speed. Damn him, Kisame said as he stood up slowly. Every bone in his body hurt like they had just been snapped. Come on Itachi, we have to report this to Pain-sama, he said as he started to walk out of the hole he made with Izumi slowly following him. From a rooftop Naruto looked down at the two with a smirk. This time the Akatsuki will not win. I will protect Konoha no matter the cost, he thought to himself before horizonting away. Next morning, Naruto, Narumi, and Sayuri waited for their sensei Kazumi to arrive at the training field. She was already 3 hours late for the test and two of them were getting bored of just waiting. Kami, when will she get here? Narumi cried out to the heavens. Naruto, who was reading a book, held up 3 fingers. 3, 2, 1. Naruto said in a calm tone as Kazumi arrived via Shunshin the moment he said 1. You're late Kazumi-sensei, Naruto said as he closed his book. Kazumi looked away from her book at the 3, whatever. She sighed as pulled out 2 bells. Your test is to get these 2 bells. Those who do not get one will be sent back to the academy for another year. If you want one, come at me with the intent to kill. You have until noon to get one. Also, whoever doesn't get one doesn't get to eat lunch, she said as he tied the bell to her hip and placed a timer on a log. The bell test, Naruto thought as he remembered when he first took the test with Sasuke and Sakura. Begin, she said. Narumi and Sayuri jumped away and hid from the older Jonin. Naruto just stood still in his spot. Kazumi looked up from her book at Naruto. Well, it seems like the 2 girls know the basics of stealth, but this one seems rather rash. I wonder what he can really do, she thought to herself. You know you hide. You're just a genin and I'm an elite Jonin. There is no way you can beat me in a one-on-one fight, she said, dropping a hint. Naruto smirked. You shouldn't be so sensei, Naruto said as he readied 10 shuriken. Let's see you dodge this. Jinten light speed shuriken, Naruto said as he threw all of them. The 10 looked like yellow streaks through the air as they hit Kazumi before she could even move from her spot or draw a kunai. Sayuri and Narumi's eyes widened as they saw their team member seemingly kill their sensei in a single move. They were broken out of their stupor when they saw Kazumi turn into a log. The real Kazumi jumped out a tree at Naruto. She launched a kick at his skull. Naruto reacted quickly and caught the kick with his right hand and threw the silver-haired Kunoichi away from him. Don't underestimate me. Jinten bullet punch, he said as he appeared in front of Kazumi in a millisecond and delivered a series of punches blasting her back from the force behind the attack. The older Kunoichi slowly stood up and faced Naruto. There is no way this is a genin. He's moving faster than Minato-sensei without his Horizon. Is this what Hokage-sama meant when he said that he wasn't normal? She thought to herself as she got into a stance. You're good Naruto, I see what the Hokage meant when he said that you weren't normal, but from this point on all in control. You have taijutsu down, but let's see how you handle genjutsu, she said as she performed a few hand signs. The Kunoichi then faded away, demonic illusion tree binding death. A tree grew around Naruto, trapping him in place. Kazumi appeared out of the tree and put a kunai to his neck. Give up, I win. Naruto closed his eyes and smiled at the older woman. You shouldn't assume things, Kazumi-sensei, even more when you are already trapped in my genjutsu, Naruto said as he burst into a flock of crows. Kazumi's eyes widened as Naruto appeared in front of her. She narrowed her eyes at him and released her genjutsu. She moved her hair out of the way of her left eye to reveal her Sharingan. She closed her one normal eye, there now your genjutsu will not work. Sorry sensei, but I still win. Naruto said to the Jonin who just looked at him. Don't believe me? Well, I'll have to show you, he said as the sky turned red and the sun black. The grass and leaves became white and the trees gray. Welcome to the Tsukiyomi, Naruto said as he vanished in a flock of crows. Kazumi's one visible eye widened at this. What? When did he get me? She thought as chains came out of the bushes and wrapped around her arms, strumming her up as chains shot out of the ground and wrapped around her legs. Several crows gathered to form the right side of Naruto's face, torso, and arm. More crows gathered into a sword in Naruto's hand and put it to her neck. Give up. I may not be able to use this jutsu for the full length of 3 days, but 24 hours is good enough for this fight. He said to the kunoichi. The Sumiyomi. But that's a Mangekyo jutsu, which means Hokage-sama was right and he does have a variant if the Sharingan, she thought as she tried to break out of the powerful genjutsu. No matter what she tried, she couldn't break it. Damn, how could fall for a trap so easily? She sighed to herself, fine, I surrender. The Naruto in front of her smirked as he vanished in a storm of birds. The world around her returned to normal as the Tsukiyomi dispersed. Kazumi fell to her knees panting heavily. The real Naruto walked over to the downed kunoichi and removed all the bells from her hip. Well, we're done, he said as he shunshined away. Narumi watched wide-eyed as her male counterpart easily took down AA-rank kunoichi with little effort on his part. Sayuri was thinking something else. Those eyes. They were just like Itachi's the day he murdered our clan. Is he an Uchiha? She thought to herself in hope that there may be another Uchiha left beside her brother. Naruto's voice rang out onto the trying ground, Sayuri-chan. Narumi-chan. The test is over, come out. He said as he appeared on top of one of the log posts holding the 2 bells in his right hand. The 2 grills came out of the foliage into the clearing where Naruto and Kazumi were. Catch, he said as he tossed a bell to each of them. We either pass as a team or we fail as a team. Naruto said to the 2. So what is it, Kazumi-sensei? Pass or fail? Kazumi smiled as she looked on. You 3 ain't the first ones to pass my test. Starting next Monday we will start training and doing missions. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, she said to the 3. She took out her mature novel and walked away. Naruto smirked and shunshined away from the clearing, leaving the 2 kunoichi best friends by themselves. Sayuri looked at her best friend. Narumi-chan, is Naruto an Uchiha? She asked the blonde kunoichi. Narumi shook her head. No, he isn't an Uchiha, sorry. She answered to her friend's disappointment. Why do you ask? She questioned her friend. Sayuri looked down with tears building up in her eyes. His eyes. His eyes reminded me of my brother Itachi's eyes when he killed my parents. They looked like the Mangekyo Sharingan my brother had. She answered her friend. Narumi looked at her friend in the eyes and brought her into a hug. I don't really know what his eyes do, but I do know that they are called the Tengen and it's supposed to be a powerful dojutsu that allow he to do amazing things. I'm sorry I can't tell you more, but that is as much as I know about those eyes of his. She said to her friend. I'm sure he'll tell us more as we become closer to each other. Sayuri nodded and let go of her friend. Come on, let's go to the hot springs, Sayuri said as she put on a brave front. Narumi nodded happily and followed, neither noticing the crow watching them from a branch. The black bird flew away from the clearing after the 2 girls left the clearing. Hokage Tower. 9 Jonin stood in front of the elderly cage. The old man sighed. So far 6 out of 9 teams have failed their test. Kazumi-chan, what about your team? He asked her. He already knew that the team had passed. He had been spying on them through his crystal ball. Team 7 composed of Narumi Uzumaki Namikaze, Sayuri Uchiha, and Naruto Namikaze passed, she said to the shock of her fellow Jonin. Kazumi, can you please tell us how the team passed? Hiruzen asked the silver-haired kunoichi. Kazumi nodded. When the test started, Sayuri and Narumi tried to hide from me. Naruto stayed to fight. I completely underestimated him. His Jinten nearly killed me once when he threw shurikens so fast that they left streaks in the air. He further surprised me with his taijutsu, and finally he trapped me in a genjutsu that I wasn't able to escape from. I also confirmed that he does have a variant of the Sharingan and is able to use the ultimate genjutsu of the Uchiha, the Tsukiyomi. She finished her explanation. The other Jonin were shocked to hear how skilled a single genin was. To trap a Jonin like Kazumi in a genjutsu and use the Tsukiyomi no less was outstanding. Very well. Kurenai-chan, how about your team? Passed. The red-eyed beauty answered. Asuma-kun. The aged Kage asked his second son. Passed as well. The bearded man said to his father as he took a drag from his cigarette. You want me to make a second coming of the Inoshika Cho team, don't you? The old Kage nodded. Yes, the original worked extremely well, so a new generation would do the village good. Hiruzen answered his son's question. Very well, it seems like all the clan heirs passed this year. Dismissed. He said to the 9. Once the 9 had left, Hiruzen looked the leftmost corner of this office. You can come out now, Rokudaime Dono. The wood on the wall rippled, show that there was a genjutsu. Naruto walked out of the ripple and stared at the Hokage. Tell me, why didn't you tell Sayuri-chan that Itachi was actually a female named Izumi? Naruto asked the Kage. Hiruzen hummed as he thought of a response. Sayuri-chan, as you know from your world, or Sasuke as he was called, was seriously traumatized by that day. So was Sayuri. How would you feel if you found out that your entire family was lying to you all your life? The old man said to Naruto, who would just continued to stare at the old Kage. Naruto finally spoke after an eternity of silence. I would feel like I couldn't trust anyone anymore. He finally answered. Hiruzen nodded. See, but can you tell me how you found out about her secret? The Sandaime Hokage asked the blonde. Have you seen the space behind the Hokage monument? Naruto asked. The old man shook his head. No, I haven't. Why? Naruto chuckled nervously as he scratched the back of his head. Well, she came to me offering me a place in the Akatsuki and replace Orochimaru Tem. Hiruzen grimaced at the mention of his former student. I refused to join, so she had to fight me to the death or until I joined. I defeated her, but I may have gone overboard a bit. Hiruzen nodded. I see. Well, I suggest you get ready for your date with Inuko tomorrow. The old man said with a perverted smirk. Naruto glared at the older Kage. You were spying on me. Naruto said as a tick mark appeared on his forehead. Saturday, Inuzuka compound. Naruto walked towards the large gates of the wore a burnt orange dress shirt and black pants. Wow, this place is exactly the same as the one in my world. And I can't believe that I'm going on a date with Kiba. Naruto thought as he made a gauging sound. No, this isn't Kiba. This is someone different. Naruto said in thought as he shook his head. He stopped at the gates where 2 members stopped him to check who he was. State your business with the Inuzuka. One of the guards ordered. Naruto smiled. I'm here to pick up Inuko-chan for our date, Naruto said to the Toho, whose eyes widened. The guard who stopped him bowed deeply. I'm sorry for the delay, Namikaze-sama. I should have known it was you. He begged for forgiveness. Naruto waved it off. It's no problem. You were just doing your job. Naruto said as he continued to walk forward. The compound was massive. It was mostly forests with buildings dotting the landscape. The largest one was the one in the direct middle, which he assumed was the clan head's home. As he walked through the compound, he was greeted by several members from the clan. As he arrived at the door, he checked to make sure that he looked decent. Seeing that he was good, he knocked on the door. Wait a moment, an angelic voice rang out from behind the door. Naruto waited for a few seconds until Inuko answered the door. To say Naruto was surprised was an understatement. Beautiful was the only thing that came out of his mouth as stared at the image of beauty in front of him. Inuko was wearing a light tan-colored kimono with a red sash around her waist. She had put her silk-like brown hair into a ponytail. She had a faint blush on her cheeks from being called beautiful. Hey, she said with a small stutter. While she was normally very confident, this was her first date that was not arranged. You look good, Shish said in a barely audible tone. Naruto smiled. Thanks, you look good too, he said as he offered his hand. Inuko slowly took the hand as the two started to walk out of the compound. 2 hours later, Naruto and Inuko sat side by side on the Hokage monument. They had had a good date. They found that they liked about the same things. The entire date was overall fun. That was a good date, Inuko-chan, Naruto said to the girl next to him. Inuko smiled. Yeah, it was a great time. Thank you for taking me to that restaurant. It seemed expensive, she said with a light blush. I was nothing, Naruto said with a kind smile that caused Inuko to blush. Inuko looked down. I was wondering if we could do this again later when we're free. She asked the blonde demon. Sure, but next week I have a date with Ino-chan, so I can't do it then, Naruto said to the brown-haired girl. No problem, she said as she stood up. I'm sorry, but I have to go now, she said to the blonde. Naruto grinned. Well, see you later then, Naruto said to the girl who started to walk away before she ran back and kissed Naruto on the cheek before running away. Naruto touched his cheek where Inuko had kissed him. The date with Ino the week after was equally as good as the one with Inuko, only that she was bolder than Inuko and wasn't afraid to cuddle. Both dates left him with one thing left to do: speak with the old man about the CRA. Naruto walked into the large office. Sandame Dono. I have something to ask you to do for me, the blonde Juubi said to the old man. And what would that be, Rokudime Dono? I wish to instate the CRA on myself, Naruto said to the old cage, who let out a content sigh. Oh, thank Kami you decided. What do you mean? Naruto asked about the Hokage's relief. The council wanted to put you in the program by force, but you gave your consent, so there is no problem. I mean, having AS rank Hokage level shinobi attack the village would ruin us, Rokudime Dono, Hiruzen said to the blonde with a slight chuckle, but he knew deep down that Naruto could wipe out the village if he wanted, so staying on his good side was a must. Stupid council could have destroyed us. Naruto narrowed his eyes at the mention of the council. They were the reason why his childhood was as bad as it was, since they were the ones to tell the village about the Kyuubi and manipulated the village against him. Why do you allow them to boss you around, Sandame Dono? Naruto nearly growled at the man. What do you mean? I am the ruler of this village, the Sandame stated proudly as he narrowed his sight on the blonde former Hokage. Naruto smirked. Do you really think that? Who creates the academy curriculum? Naruto asked the old man, but already knew the answer. The council, but he was cut off by Naruto asking another question. Who runs the trade in the village and the currently as well as homing system? Naruto asked the man, who was now looking at him with wide eyes as realization came to him. Naruto smiled at this. He had reawakened the true Sandame Hokage. Hiruzen's widened eyes narrowed. They seemed to have a burning fire behind them now that was missing before. His expression turned serious as he slammed his palms on the desk as he stood up. The council, he yelled out in rage. He had finally seen the light. He had become soft, push-able, weak, but no more. The village has been in need of money since the Kyuubi attack, but it never seemed to have the funds. He saw it now, the damn civilian basters filling their pockets while the rest suffered. Anbu, get you in here this moment, he ordered. Two black-clad shinobi shunshined into the room in attention stance. Hi Hokage-sama, they called out. Call the bloody council to the meeting room now, and if they aren't there in 30 minutes they are dead, he ordered in a commanding voice that was the polar opposite of the grandfatherly tone that he had been using since he was reinstated. Hi Hokage-sama, the two said before shining away to do their mission. How does it feel to be back, Sandame Dono? Naruto asked the now reawakened Kage. It feels good to be back, Rokudime Dono. Do you wish to join me at the council meeting? The Sandame asked the blonde, who now sported a shit-eating grin. Oh, you bet that I'm ready to, Naruto said to the Sarutobi, who stood up from his desk and walked out of the room with Naruto in tow. This is going to be fun, Naruto thought as he and the Hokage arrived at the large room that was used for meetings. The room was currently filled with the clan heads from the Hyuga, Inuzuka, Aburame, Akamaiki, Yamanaka, and Nara, and Asuma representing the Sarutobi since his father was Hokage on the shinobi side while on the right while the left was filled with the 11 richest civilians in the village. In between the two groups were the three village elders Danzo, Homura Mitokado and Kaharu Udatane. The shinobi side had 4 open spots for the Uchiha, Uzumaki, Senju and Namikaze who weren't there at the were all sitting in a large U-shaped desk. In the middle of the U was a chair with a large desk. The Hokage opened the door and walked in with Naruto right behind him. The Hokage took the seat in the middle while Naruto took the Namikaze seat. One of the civilians decided to express his thoughts. Hokage-sama, why were we called here on such short notice? The man asked the old Kage. We are here to establish something. I have recently noticed that certain members of the council have been harming the village. So I along with Naruto Namikaze who will from now on act as the Namikaze representative have decided to fix that. The Sandaime said as he glared at certain members of the council. From now on all control over the banks of the village and trade go directly to me. Also the civilian council will have no say in the academy curriculum as of now. Our village has become weak from letting greed run the village. The civilian council will also have no voice in shinobi affairs. This caused an uproar from the civilians while the shinobi smirked at the fact that their leader was finally taking charge. Kaharu and Homura were a bit worried that they were losing power in the council back to the Hokage. Danzo actually seemed to be smirking at this. Dismissed. The Hokage ordered as he and Naruto walked out of the room. As they arrived in, Danzo was already waiting for them. Danzo-san, what do you want? Hiruzen asked the bandaged man. I have come to congratulate you on coming back to your senses. Danzo said to the Hokage. Yes, it's good to be back. Hiruzen said to the other old shinobi. Also I know that you still run root under my back. He said much to the surprise of Danzo. How did you know? Danzo asked him a little shocked that he had been found out. You just told me. The Sandaime said with a victorious smirk. Danzo felt like he should bang his head on a stone wall for falling for that. But I'm not punishing you. You have the village's best interest in mind, so I understand and want you to start root officially again. The village needs protection on your root is able to help. But on the conditions that you give a list of all current members, have them instated as Konoha shinobi, and they must take missions from me and only me. Also no more kidnapping or brainwashing. They must be loyal to the village and the Hokage. Those are all that you must agree to. Danzo seemed to think things over. On the upside he could better protect the village now that he didn't have to hide from the world. On the downside he would lose his personal army. The village comes first. He decided. Very well, Sarutobi. I will agree to your terms. I will send a member later this week with the roster. Danzo said to his old rival. Danzo then left the room to go prepare his reports. The Sandaime turned to Naruto. Was he truthful? He asked the blonde. Hi. He was honest. He is on our side now. I would still keep tabs on him though. Naruto said as he too turned to leave the office. Oh, and please don't think that I would ever betray the village. I love this place even if it's not the same as mine. As long as we work for peace in this world, I will always protect the will of fire. Naruto said as he vanished out the door. 2 months later, Naruto, Narumi, Sayuri, and Kazumi were standing in front of the Hokage, Danzo, and Iruka who were going to assign them their next mission. They had just retrieved Tora for the 10th time that week and watched in utter joy as the cat was smothered by her owner. Let's see. We have fence painting, gardening, or, the Hokage was interrupted by the cry of, Tora no, or catching the cat. No. Narumi yelled at the old man. No way Gigi, we have been doing nothing but D-rank missions for 2 months now, 2 months. I want a C-rank mission. She said with a pout. Narumi, how could you disrespect the Hokage like that? Iruka yelled at the girl who just glared at him. Missions are ranked on difficulty with D rank being the lowest and S rank being the highest. While I admit that your team is one of the strongest since the Sanin, you guys are still just academy graduates. Iruka stated. I believe that they are ready. Danzo said out loud as he took a sip of some tea. I know from observation that Narumi-san is at High Chunin right now and Low Jonin with the Kyuubi while Sayuri-san is at Mid Chunin now without her Sharingan. I don't even want to think about what level Naruto-san is, but I have a estimation, and if I'm right the team could accomplish a C rank mission easily. Danzo explained to the Hokage and Iruka. The Sarutobi looked at Danzo from the corner of his eye. Are you sure, Danzo-san? The Hokage asked the root leader, who quietly nodded his response. Very well. Send him in. The Hokage called out as another old man walked through the door. The old man was a gray-haired, bespectacled man with a large beard and dark eyes. He wore a sleeveless versus neck shirt with an obi, pants and a pair of sandals. He also carried a towel around his neck and wore a pointed hat on his head. This my protection, two little girls, a masked Bolti and the fourth Hokage. The man screamed as he fainted. Everyone in the room sweated dropped at the old man mistaking Naruto as Minato. Half the village still accidentally called him Minato, and about half of them believed that Naruto was really Minato in disguise so that he could avoid the paperwork that came with being Hokage. Here's inside at the man's behavior. Well, I'll explain your mission while we wait for him to wake up. This is Master Bridge Builder Tazuna. Your mission is to escort him back to his home in the waves so he can finish a bridge there. This is a C rank mission and will be outside the village. There is also a low chance that you may encounter bandits on the way, so be careful. Once the Hokage finished the explanation, Tazuna had finally awakened. Man, for a second I thought I had the fourth Hokage protecting me. What a dream. The old man said as he rubbed his sore head since he hand fainted on a oak floor. He looked back at the team and saw Naruto once more. Holy shit, it wasn't a dream. He cried in joy. Naruto laughed nervously. Actually, I'm not Minato Namikaze. I'm a relative of him, Naruto Namikaze. Sorry for the confusion, Naruto said as he scratched the back of his head sheepishly. Tazuna stared at Naruto. Okay, Naruto, I'm sorry that I mistook you for Minato, Naruto. He said, adding emphasis on the name Naruto as if he was saying them sarcastically. Naruto's sweat dropped. Great, now someone outside the village thinks I'm Minato incognito. Maybe I should change me hairstyle. The blonde thought to himself. Well, we'll meet at the gates tomorrow morning at 6 am sharp, Kazumi said to her team and Tazuna. The old bridge builder just nodded. This gave him time to buy more booze to drink on the way home. As the team was about to leave, Narumi grabbed Naruto and Sayuri's arm and flashed them to her bedroom. Naruto looked at her in shock as she and Sayuri started to strip their cloths, leaving themselves in panties and bras. Narumi wore a burnt set while Sayuri was wearing a black set. Naru-chan, Sa-chan, what are you two doing? Naruto asked the two as they crawled onto the bed and moved over to his pants. He had gone on quite a lot of dates with the two over the last 2 months, but he didn't expect them to be so forward. Narumi smirked as she pulled of his pants. Well, over the 2 months we've decided that you would be ours. So this is to celebrate us getting our first C-rank mission. Narumi said to him as Sayuri pulled of his boxers, revealing Naruto erect 8-inch manhood. Oh, this is gonna be hot, she said as she and Sayuri started to lick his length. Naruto moaned as he felt their tongues licking what made him a man. Narumi and Sayuri stopped licking him as Narumi took his manhood into her mouth and started to give him the blowjob of the ages as she channeled chakra into her throat, causing it to vibrate. Sayuri started to on Naruto's balls, causing the blonde to moan louder. Wanting to feel more, Naruto grabbed Narumi's head as his demonic urges took over and started to face her as he shoved himself down her throat. Ah, Naru-chan, I think I'm coming, Naruto grunted as he came inside the blonde's mouth. Narumi greedily drank all her lover's seed as she continued to trying to get more out of him. Narumi released his from he mouth as Sarui moved over to take her place. To their amazement, Naruto's manhood was already erect once more. Hey Narumi, give me a taste of what him. she said as the raven-haired beauty and female Namikaze started to make out in front of Naruto, who watched in amazement. After a few minutes, the two separated and looked at Naruto. Like the show Naru-kun, she said to him as she crawled over to him and placed her nether region over his mouth. Now you pleasure me, she ordered. She had read all of Jiraiya's books, so she was prepared with basic knowledge of the UAL art. She lowered herself onto his face. Naruto, also having read Jiraiya's books, knew exactly what to do since the books were made more for guys than girls. Naruto gave her womanhood a long lick, causing Narumi to shudder in pleasure. Oh, Naru-kun, you that again, she moaned as Naruto started to lick faster, now causing the blonde Jinchuriki to moan louder. Not wanting to be left out, Sayuri took Naruto's manhood and placed it in the valley between her s and started to jack him off with her mounds, whiling the head. Naruto moaned into Narumi's as he stuck his tongue inside. Narumi gasped as Naruto started to eat her out as if he were in some beast-like trance. Naru-koi, I'm cummmmmmimg. She screamed out as her juices splashed into Naruto's opened mouth. Sayuri, who was still pumping her s along Naruto's length, felt him swell as he came all over her tits and face. Sayuri used her fingers to scoop up the jizz on her face, placing the cum in her mouth. She then proceeded to lick the cum of her s with a deep blush staining her cheeks. It tastes way better licking it from my body than from Naru-chan's mouth, she moaned. But now it's time for you to taste me, Naru-kun, she said as she crawled over to and replaced Narumi, who was now over Naruto's manhood. Narumi stepped off the bed to watch her lover eat out her best friend. Naruto flipped himself and Sayuri over so he was on top and she was on the bed. Naruto swiftly shoved his tongue into the female Uchiha's sacred spot while his hands moved up and groped her s. Sayuri cried out in pleasure as Naruto tweaked her nipples. The blonde demon stopped licking her inner walls and started to on her. Sayuri screamed in pleasure as she came all over Naruto's face. Both were now panting. Hey Sa-chan, why don't you take a small break and enjoy the show? Narumi said to the Uchiha, who weakly nodded and moved of the bed. Narumi climbed over Naruto and aligned his manhood with her vagina. Hey Naru-kun, how does it feel knowing you are basically taking your own virginity? To be that just makes it far more wire. Narumi said to the blonde, who thought about it. At first I was a bit creeped out, but now that I think about it, it is kind of hot. Naruto said as he placed his hands on her hips. Ready? Just me already, Narumi responded. Naruto smirked as he lowered his blonde counterpart down on himself. The two moaned as they felt a sense of completeness within their mind. The Kyuubi's chakra in Narumi resonated with Naruto's own Juubi chakra, causing a massive wave of pleasure to wash over the two, almost causing them to cum at that moment. Naruto was now completely sheathed within Narumi. He had gotten in without having to break her hymen, since she probably broke it while training with Jiraiya. Whenever you're ready, Naruto said to the female Jinchuriki. I told you to, just didn't I? She said with what seemed to be a slight growl. It was that Naruto saw that her eyes were red and filled with demonic lust. Naruto grinned and revealed his now sharpened teeth. Narumi started to bounce up and down on top of the blonde. Ah, Naru-koi, you fill up so good, she cried out as she felt the blonde lover. The sound of flesh meeting the two met each other halfway. Naru-chan, you're as like a ing vice grip. Naruto grunted as he plowed into the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. On the side, Sayuri had enough of sitting around and climbed on top of Naruto's chest and started to make out with Sayuri once more while they started to grope each other. The two moaned into each other's mouth. Ah, Naru-koi, I'm coming, Narumi moaned into Sayuri's mouth as she felt herself reaching her limit. Naru-chan, I'm coming as well. Naruto grunted as the two came at the same time. Narumi felt Naruto's seed shoot deep inside of herself. Sayuri then came on Naruto's chest, not being able to handle Narumi's ministrations any longer. Naru-kun, you think you still have one more load for little old me, Sayuri said with a cute pout that could melt the heart of even the coldest man. Yeah, I think so, Naruto said to the Uchiha, who smirked. Good, but I don't feel like taking it in the right now. How about, She trailed of as he leaded forward and stuck her up in the air. Quote. My, she said in a sultry tone. Naruto smirked once again as he placed his manhood at the entrance to her and slowly pushed in inch by inch. Oh Kami, Sarui said in a trembling voice as she felt Naruto slowly defile her. She turned to him with a glare. Don't bother starting slow, just me as hard as you can. Sarui ordered the blonde. Naruto nodded and started to drive